I don't believe Caitlyn Clark is targeted in any way. It's a great player. You're going to get teams' best efforts. I don't agree, with egregious contact and things that occurred after, stuff like that happened in last game.
I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Bee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it. It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Situation, right? Everybody knows you put Caitlyn Clark anywhere, you're going to get the clicks, you're going to get the likes, you're going to get, compensation.
Cheryl Reeve just straight up clowned Caitlyn Clark in front of the whole league. And honestly, she made her look like nothing but hype. Clark's Team Clark got blown out 151-131. And Caitlyn, she was courtside in a hoodie, saying she couldn't play because of a groin injury. While the same coach who's been questioning her toughness all season, Cheryl Reeve, got proven right without saying another word. Reeve had just said days earlier that Caitlyn isn't being targeted. She just isn't used to the physical play in the WNBA like the veterans are. Then, Caitlyn sits out, her team loses badly, and cameras catch her walking normally, laughing, and looking fine before the game. Fans didn't see someone who was injured. They saw someone avoiding the exact game that could have proven Cheryl wrong. And while Caitlyn watched, Nafisa Collier scored 36 points in 19 minutes, breaking the All-Star scoring record. No drama, no excuses, just results. Now Cheryl looks like the one telling the truth, while Caitlyn's hype is starting to look like smoke and mirrors. And this tension between them, it didn't just start here. The moment Caitlyn Clark pulled out of the All-Star game, the story changed. Her team wasn't just missing their star, they were getting blown out by 20 points before halftime, while Caitlyn sat on the bench looking completely comfortable. Her team claimed it was a groin injury from the Sun game 2 nights earlier, but the media day clips told a different story. Caitlyn was walking with no limp, moving around easily for the cameras. Not a single sign she was hurting. Take a look.
You got this one. I'll do the next one. I gotta practice my board work. 4-point shots only. 4-point shots only. Have fun. You kind of ghost out. You wait a second and she for that 4-point shot. I like that. We're down 15? Are you kidding me? I didn't even know that.
That's why fans weren't buying it, especially once Cheryl Reeve went public, saying Caitlyn isn't being targeted. She just needs to adjust to the league like everyone else. So when she sits out while her jersey's filling the arena and her team's getting blown out, people started saying it looked like she just didn't want to face the one game that could have shut Cheryl up. Because if Caitlyn had played and still lost after all that talk, it wouldn't just be people speculating anymore. It would be the proof Cheryl was waiting for. And this didn't come out of nowhere. Cheryl's been questioning Caitlyn since before this season even started. The tension between Cheryl Reeve and Caitlyn Clark goes back to last year, when Cheryl, as Team USA's head coach, left Caitlyn off the Paris 2024 Olympic roster. It caused a massive reaction. Caitlyn was already the biggest name in the WNBA, selling out arenas and pulling in record-breaking TV audiences. Fans accused Cheryl of gatekeeping, protecting her veterans and holding back the league's growth. And that's what stung the most, because Caitlyn had been vocal about how badly she wanted this.
I know the team is not set. Your chances of making it are pretty good. What would it mean to you to represent the country in Paris this summer?
Yeah, I think it would mean everything. That's like one of my dreams as a kid growing up. You always want to be an Olympic gold medalist. So I know how special it is to represent USA across your chest. So being able to do that on the highest level would certainly be a dream come true.
But Cheryl didn't budge. She said Caitlyn needed more development and made it clear the Olympics weren't a place for learning curves. Translation, hype or not, Cheryl didn't think Caitlyn was ready to run with the best in the world. At the time, Reeve was painted as the bad guy, but now, after this All-Star weekend and everything around it, her decision doesn't seem as personal. It seems like she saw what's happening now. Caitlyn's star power is real, but her ability to handle the league's physicality, still a question mark. And when Caitlyn finally had the chance to make a statement at the All-Star draft, that's when it really blew up. At the All-Star draft, Caitlyn clearly tried to make a statement. She traded Cheryl Reeve off her team and handed the coaching spot to Becky Hammon. It came across as her way of firing back at the coach who left her off the Olympic roster and insisted she wasn't being targeted.
I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Bee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it. It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules. But we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello.
But instead of making a point, it completely backfired. Caitlyn never suited up. She sat in street clothes while her team Clark got blown out by 20 points. Cheryl didn't have to react. She didn't have to clap back or say a word. The scoreboard did all the talking. What Caitlyn meant to be her "I'm in control now" moment turned into more proof for Cheryl's narrative. And while Caitlyn sat, another player showed exactly how a star is supposed to handle the spotlight. While Caitlyn was sitting out, Collier dominated. She scored 36 points in just 19 minutes, broke the all-star scoring record, and walked away with MVP. And here's what made it sting even more. Collier was facing the same defenders Caitlyn has claimed are targeting her. But Collier didn't whine. She didn't argue with rest. She didn't sit out. She just showed up and delivered.
Collier ducks in for the lay. What's the focus right now for your group, your team tonight, Fee, after putting up 49 in the first quarter?
I think we're doing pretty good on offense. We're on pace to score 200 points. So I would say keep doing what we're doing.
All right, I know you got to get out on the floor,
Yeah.
so you can pop that headset off, go do your thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.
Collier's performance didn't just overshadow Caitlyn's absence. It highlighted how fragile Caitlyn's hype feels when she's not on the floor. The WNBA might market Clark as the savior, but players like Collier and Asia Wilson are the ones actually performing under pressure. And then the ratings came out, which only made the spotlight on Caitlyn even brighter. Last year, with Caitlyn on the court, the game drew 3.44 million viewers on ABC. This year, with her on the bench, it dropped to 2.19 million. That's a 36% decline. Sure, that's still the second highest all-star viewership in league history, but it shows just how much the WNBA relies on Caitlyn to keep the spotlight. Even when other stars step up, the energy just isn't the same without her. And that's why so many people are calling her more of a product than a player. The league protects her and promotes her like no one else, while veterans who are producing don't get nearly the same treatment. And Cheryl isn't the only one who sees it. Other players have been speaking up too, and they're not holding back. At the All-Star game, things got awkward fast. Kelsey Plum publicly called out Team Clark for skipping a pre-game meeting about the "pay us what you owe us" protest. She tried to play it off as a joke later, but it felt like a real jab, especially when Sabrina Ionescu was caught rolling her eyes on camera as Plum spoke.
Well, it was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
The moment only fueled the narrative that Caitlyn's camp isn't fully embraced by the league's veterans, and that the tension runs deeper than just on-court play. Then there are the veterans. Diana Taurasi and Breanna Stewart were already hinting back in 2024 that Caitlyn's hype was running way ahead of her resume. They reminded everyone she hasn't won a title yet, hasn't made a deep playoff run, and still has a lot to prove before being treated like the league's savior.
It's the new fans. They're really sensitive these days. You can't say anything. It's kind of like when you go from kindergarten to first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct, and like anything, greatness is going to translate.
Comments like that didn't just challenge Caitlyn's star power, they showed how many veterans aren't buying the instant crown the league and media are trying to hand her. And then WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert poured gas on the fire. She compared Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese's rivalry to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, a comment that did not sit well with the league's vets.
There's a little of that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Right after, stars like Breanna Stewart, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Dejanay Carrington slammed the remark, calling it flat-out disrespectful to the veterans who've been carrying the league for years. To them, it felt like the league was writing off their work just to fast-track Caitlyn and Angel into a media-made rivalry. Even NBA champ Michael Thompson weighed in, saying part of the tension is just ego and jealousy. Some players don't like seeing Caitlyn handed the spotlight before she's truly earned it. All of it makes Cheryl's "she's not targeted" point land even harder, because the pushback Caitlyn's facing isn't just on the court, it's from the locker room too. She's been saying since day one that the WNBA is much rougher than college. She admitted early on that she was getting pushed off screens too easily and that the speed and contact were a big adjustment. And now, Caitlyn's mic'd up moments are becoming a storyline of their own. She's been caught on camera arguing with refs over and over, calling one rude, mocking another by pretending to make a phone call, and even snapping annoyed "grow up" when a challenge. Cheryl Reeve didn't defend her. Instead, she said the league needs to keep things fair for everyone, not just the star everyone's talking about. Coming right after Caitlyn's sideline blow-ups, it felt less like a neutral comment and more like a warning. If you want to be the face of the league, you've got to handle the same game everyone else does.
I don't believe Caitlyn Clark is targeted in any way. It's a great player. You're going to get teams' best efforts. I don't agree, with egregious contact and things that occurred after, stuff like that happened in last game.
And this isn't out of character. Cheryl's built a reputation for saying blunt things to the league's biggest names, not just Caitlyn. Back in 2022, Cheryl Reeve showed this isn't just about Caitlyn. She publicly went after Diana Taurasi after Taurasi kicked Sylvia fouls during a game and didn't even get a foul. Cheryl told reporters there would be ramifications because no matter how respected a player is, they don't get to play by their own rules.
Like Coach Reeve said, she's been in this game longer than anyone. She's coached the greats, been around the greats, and I think it's always nice to see the game improving.
Even Diana, as competitive as she is, admitted Cheryl had a point. It proves Cheryl's not afraid to check anyone, even legends, when she thinks the league isn't holding the line. Just last year, after the finals, Cheryl Reeve didn't hold back. She flat out accused the refs of costing the Lynx a championship, saying the title was stolen from us, and daring the league to fine her for it. She knew they wouldn't because her rant forced the league to actually review the officiating.
I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because it was stolen from us. Bring it on. This ain't that hard. Officiating it's not that hard.
And that's not the only time she's pushed back. Cheryl's also gone after the WNBA for its inconsistent travel schedule, biased coverage, and questionable officiating, proving she's just as tough on the league as she is on the players. So this isn't her targeting Caitlyn, it's Cheryl being consistent. But the way the league is reacting, or not reacting, is raising eyebrows. Now here's something I bet y'all saw coming. For all the drama around this All-Star weekend, the WNBA hasn't said a word. No comment about Cheryl's remarks, nothing about Caitlyn sitting out, no mention of the ratings drop. And that silence is making people talk even more. To fans, it looks like the league is trying to protect Caitlyn by avoiding the conversation entirely. If they admit the weekend struggled without her, it proves how much they need her. If they defend her injury, it fuels the she's being babied narrative. If they side with Cheryl, it feels like they're throwing their biggest draw under the bus. So they've said nothing, and that's only making the speculation louder. That Caitlyn's image is being protected, while veterans like Cheryl are left to speak up about fairness. And by the end of All-Star Weekend, Cheryl Reeve didn't need to say anything else. She already made her point. Caitlyn Clark isn't being targeted, she's just dealing with the same physical game as every other star. And everything that happened only backed her up. Clark's team lost big. She didn't play. Ratings fell without her. And while she sat in street clothes, Napheesa Collier made history and showed what a true star performance looks like. Cheryl leaves this looking like the coach who says what others won't. Caitlyn leaves looking like a player whose hype might not match the moment, and one the league might be protecting more than it should. Now it's on Caitlyn. If she comes back, handles the hits, and starts proving she can carry the league on the court, she can change the story. But if she keeps missing games, arguing with refs, and letting others put in the work while she gets all the headlines, the hype doesn't just fade, it bursts. And when that happens, Cheryl won't be the only one saying it. The whole league and every fan watching will start questioning if Caitlyn Clark is really the future of the WNBA, or just the face they've been selling us.